Throughout the development of the project, Andy has helped celebrate the contribution survivors and our storytellers have made to Greater Manchester's history and culture. So, Deputy Lieutenant Burnham, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce the Mayor of Greater Manchester, Andy Burnham.
Deputy Lieutenant, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's a tremendous pleasure to be with you this afternoon for the launch, as the Deputy Lieutenant said, of such an incredibly important project, or the commemoration, I should say, of it receiving Her Majesty the Queen's Award, the late Queen's Award for voluntary service. Mark, it's so kind of you to say what you just said. You reminded me when I decided to leave Parliament and put myself forward to be the first elected Mayor of Greater Manchester, I thought I was signing up for a quieter life, and it hasn't quite panned out like that. We've lived through a lot together, all of us, haven't we, over the last 5 years or more. But I am fortunate to be the Mayor of a place that, in my view, has some of the best, if not the best, people in the world. People here who welcomed people in their hour of need many years ago. People who've always shown that great compassion. I was reminded today that we was due to welcome the American ambassador to Greater Manchester in a couple of weeks' time for the reopening of Lincoln Square. Why do we have Lincoln Square? Because all of those years ago, the mill workers voted that they would not handle slave-picked cotton. And what that says to me is the kind of belief in our equality, our common humanity runs deep in this place that we call Greater Manchester, that we're proud to call home. And I'm lucky that I've not just got strength in the people, but in the individual communities that don't work as individual communities, that always work together on a cross-community, multi-faith basis. But then within that, I'm fortunate to have strong organisations. And let me say this, and say it very clearly. The Fed is a jewel in Greater Manchester's crown. It's a phenomenal organisation. It is the embodiment of what social care should be, in my view. True person-centred care, whole person care, as I would describe it, providing that quality of life, independence, through to the very later stages of life. But more than that, through this project, the My Voice project, providing that wider service to us all. And I was going to say enabling people to tell stories, but sometimes encouraging people, because I know some of the people who've been supported through this project, Mark, needed the help of the volunteers. It's a difficult thing to do what many have done, the authors of the stories. Some had not told their story before. And what this project has achieved is to do us all a great service. And I'd like to thank those 50 or so volunteers, as the Deputy Lieutenant rightly did. But what has been created here, I think we've got 33 published books, 12 more to come. Some of the authors need probably less encouragement than others. I'm looking at you, Ike. I know you're never shy in telling your story, but I consider it one of the greatest privileges of my life, actually, to sit in your company and hear you talk as you did at the Bridgewater Hall and on Holocaust Memorial Day not long ago. What you are doing is something truly important, and this is the point that I want to build to. As the Deputy Lieutenant and Mark have both said, we do have a sense at this moment in time, don't we, of one era coming to an end and a new era beginning. I mean, that's a profound sense. I think we probably will have all felt that to one degree or another over the last fortnight. And what does that mean? Well, that means that the people who lived through that period, that moment when we saw the greatest atrocity against fellow human beings, the Holocaust, people who lived through that they need to be able to say what that was like, because we won't always be able to hear their voices. It's why it's so tremendously important. And in my view, that generation has something that we've lost somehow, somewhere along the line. The notion of service, of sacrifice. Sometimes the notion of keeping things to yourself, not sharing your own troubles and travails is the way these days. You know, you could say that's a good thing or a bad thing, but actually it said something about their strength as individuals, their strength as people. I think we are in danger of losing something about what it is to bring people together. To bring people together is a really challenging thing to do. And I was saying at the service that we attended on Sunday evening with I see Christian Wakeford MP here as well, and it's great actually that the leader of Bury Council is here. We've got so many distinguished political representatives with us. I think our generation of politicians has to be honest with ourselves. In some ways, we've become the social media generation. And what I observe at times is it's not necessarily kind of uniting people. We've become more polarized, haven't we, in the last decade? You look at Leicester today and some of the issues that are being played out on the streets of that great city at this moment in time. But just look around the world. We've seen a kind of a turning away from each other, haven't we? We've seen people kind of start to kind of speak hatefully of each other. I think one of the lessons that Her Late Majesty taught us is sometimes it's better to say nothing than to say something that might create disunity, division, or inspire hate. And actually that is one of her great lessons, that she worked hard at being there for all communities, showing all communities that she was there for them, and then through that bringing us all together as a nation. And I think that's what the Fed's My Voice Holocaust Survivors and Volunteers project does. It reminds us of something that we've lost. It enables us to hear those voices that live through things that we couldn't imagine, but then understand how they got through it, what that meant from an individual point of view, and what they are saying to us as we go forward from here about what it is to combat hate, to always fight discrimination, to always champion our common humanity and equality. That is what they are saying to us, and they're saying to us, never turn away from that. And it is to our great peril if we don't hear their voice. And that's why, if I can, Mark, just to say again to the Fed, thank you so much for what you've done in creating a truly timeless resource for the people of Greater Manchester, but actually for way beyond. Thank you to the National Heritage Lottery Fund, and I think we will hear from Stephen Walsh later. Thank you to the National Heritage Lottery Fund for supporting this project. But mainly, can I just finish by thanking those who came forward and told and had the courage to tell their stories. All I can say is to give you my word. I will always hear your voice. We will always hear your voice. We will commit to you to learn and hear from what you are saying, and then to take that and carry it forward into this new era for us all. Thank you very much, everybody.